Okay, this is Randy Roebuck. Thank you for coming. This is our SunTrax Plugfest Awareness Seminar. We have quite a few slides to get through. Great thanks for Aaron coordinating the Plugfest as its working group chair. And we'll start with Jason going to give an opening here after we read the antitrust statement. Jason, would you like to start? This is the first notice. Jason, you're on mute?
I got it, Randy.
Okay.
So this particular notice is regarding different radios. Oh, you want me to do the antitrust? Okay, this is fine. We just want to make sure that any of the devices that we bring, since we have USDOT is participating, that we're not utilizing any Huawei technologies or ZTE or any other devices that are listed here. So they're strictly prohibited. If you happen to have this technology within your products, please do not bring those to this particular Plugfest. You want to go on to the next one, Randy?
Okay.
Okay.
This is Jason. Would you like to give an introduction to Omnier and the Plugfest?
So I got you, Randy. So thank you guys very much for joining us, and I definitely want to thank all of our hosts, FDOT, SunTrax, University of Florida. It's been a really long process getting the Plugfest launched and ready to go. It's definitely been a team effort. We very much appreciate everyone's efforts. This presentation will answer a lot of the questions that you're going to have, logistic-wise, returning products home, shipping, those kind of things. And then we'll get into a deeper dive into the actual testing and what's going to happen for the week. So Aaron and Randy will take the rest of the presentation from here. I'll step in if they need help with any of the logistical questions when we get to those slides at the end of the deck. So I'm turning it over to Randy. Thank you.
Thank you, Ryan. The question is, why Plugfest? We're bringing the certification elements and players together in a cooperative industry environment. We've developed a certification scope. It has test cases, test equipment, test laboratories, test sites, and we bring all the players together in order to get them qualified and authorized so we can actually bring certification services to the industry and the marketplace. Well, the Plugfest are about V2X technology readiness testing, and Omnier holds these twice a year. We've actually started in 2017. We've taken these to all parts of the United States, Texas, Michigan, California, and we've also taken it to Canada, Spain, and this present one to Florida. And basically what it is we look for conformance, compliance, compatibility, interoperability for the over-the-air communications. It's basically, this shows we're climbing the stairs to achieve certification. So we go from readiness to standards, to test cases, to test equipment, to test laboratory, field testing, and devices. Our Plugfest schedule, we're going to do bench and field testing. We have 3 daily 2.5-hour slots from 9 o'clock to 5:30. We'll be doing daily testing announcements and results 8:30 to 9. There will be lunch provided. There's a bus pickup at 7:30, and we'll depart the track at 6 p.m. Monday through Thursday, and we'll have a more detailed slide on that. Monday morning is our setup. We start connectivity right after lunch, make sure all the devices and the test equipment are compatible with each other. So when they do go to the sessions, they'll be ready to go. We do have a couple special things such as a Vita Hub introduction done by Saxton Labs. And all day we'll be doing a field test track setup. On Tuesday, we have the full set of bench and field testing going on. We also do have a seminars on the SEMS and 1218 introduction. Then we'll have an interoperability session starting then and sprinkled throughout Wednesday and Thursday. And then we also have the Saxton Labs having a emergency vehicle trucking application participation in the afternoon. On Wednesday, we have our certification panels, keynote speakers, announcements, and social. We will do more testing in the morning AM. We do leave the middle slot open to get prepared for the demonstrations and the test answers in case of some of the test people wants to come and see the keynote speakers. On Thursday, we have a full set of bench and field testing. There's also a 1609.2.1 SEMS test development session planned in the morning and could go through the afternoon. Then we do bench and field testing up on request on Friday morning. And then we do the tear down around lunchtime. And hopefully everybody can leave for their flights in the afternoon. This is a pictorial of the Plugfest schedule itself, but we'll get into a few more details in the following slides. Omnier contact information. If you have a question or needing somebody, Burkinda is our point of contact at the Plugfest. Mick will be our test floor facilitator. Ryan does the marketing type items, and I'm there to help with all the technical items. As far as return shipping after Plugfest, we've gotten these instructions. We need to make sure we have our forms filled out and take all our stuff over to the SunTrack's main office, which is right next to the track. And they basically say that must be scheduled for pickup before 4 p.m. on Monday. On Wednesday, May 3rd, we have the Connected Mobility Workshop. You can see our esteemed folks be doing keynote speakers, introductions. There's 3 different panels and very impressive lineup. And I think we're going to be able to fill their presentation room. And this is the agenda, so you can read the topics where we have advances in Vita-X implementation, emergency technology session. We have a panel on Vita-X testing and certification around the world. We do have a keynote speaker on, actually I missed the first keynote speaker, which the Secretary of FDOT will be presenting. Then around lunchtime, Suzanne Sloan will be presenting the National Strategic from the Vita-X deployment. Then there's a fireside chat. Then we have a afternoon panel, advanced Vita-X use cases and applications beyond day 1. Then we'll have a fall Plugfest and announcement. Then we'll have a concluding remarks from Carl Anderson from the USDOT. Then after that, we have a whole bunch of tours where you can tour the bench area, the outside track facility. We have live demonstrations from Quayside, Spoke, Audi, Rhodey and Swartz, University of Florida, and Wades. And then there will be a social after that in the evening. For Lakeland downtown, as far as the hotels and restaurant, I know the Omniair staff is staying at the Terrace Hotel. I know the USTOT folks have been doing some testing down there, and they've given high compliments to this hotel. There are a couple other hotels which the buses will be picking up at. It's walking distance basically to all the restaurants. Ryan and I ate a great Louisiana seafood place right next to the hotel. There was supposedly a fantastic pizza place that the lines were too long when we were there to actually get a taste of, but I think that's one of our food lunch options. And if anybody wants to join me on my daily runs, which people have done in the past, I'll try to get up about and leave about 5 a.m. or 5:15, and we can take a run around the area. I've seen some nice trails around there. If you haven't been to downtown Lakeland, these are some pictures that Ryan took of the places. It's within the block of the Terrace Hotel. Very elegant area and very down to earth. Request shuttle service to and from the hotel and SunTrax. Our pickup times is 7:30 a.m. at the Terrace Hotel. It's 7:45 to the Spring Hills, which I believe the Hyatt place is right next to it. Then the bus will depart around 6 p.m. when everybody, this is the list that Ryan has for people who want to ride the bus. So if you don't see your name on there, please contact Ryan to put your name on there. If you do have some equipment to haul back and forth and that, both Ryan and I do have a vehicle there, and we could help you out. The hotels in the Lakeland area near SunTrax, you can see on the right-hand side where the gold X is. That's where the SunTrax facility is. It's about, I think it's 15 miles away. The gold X is where the downtown, the Terrace Hotel, the Spring Hotel are located. So there's a lot of hotels, and I did pull up on Google to see what availability of hotels April 30th to May 5th, and this is what it showed this morning. Check-in. All the guests will meet the Omniair staff in the Centrum area, which is marked here, the conference center. You can see the testing bays, which is about, I would say, 100 meters away from the conference center. Very walkable. Should be very nice part of the year to do that. Then their main office, which the shipping goes in and out of, is right outside the facility. On the right-hand side, we have the SunTrax facility, world-class facility, offers a lot of capabilities that we need to put to good use in this Plugfest, and we'll show how we'll be making use of it here in the following slides. This is some pictures that Ryan took of the SunTrax facility when we visited. They got 3 intersections there with state-of-the-art traffic control systems there. They got some lookout towers. They have different surfaces, and they have a lot of features there. We do have 2 testing bays for the bench testing, plus a third bay to put vehicles in case if it rains and needs to change out equipment. We have the test stations located here approximately, and we'll take a look at it Monday morning. And if you see something that either concerns you or we haven't taken account in, we'll get with Ryan and I and go in there. And if you see anything that I don't have uh, properly shown here, send me an email here during the presentation or shortly after it so I can update the slides so we can post them on the SharePoint. Uh, um, And we actually have pictures showing the 2 side rooms where we have a debug room, and we also have a room dedicated for the SCMS work there. Ryan's going to have the tables and chairs and all arranged when you get there Monday morning. The applications and the demonstration areas, you can see on the pictorial where he has the buses. You got people that can walk at least over to the bench test page before getting on to the track facilities. FDOT will have the cones properly marked and make sure everything is a safe environment. And Ryan has flags for vehicles who want to go on the track and properly identified and go from there. On this Wednesday, he does have a couple golf carts rented to take people back and forth, equipment and that type of stuff. And there will be a bus loop. There's a stop 1, stop 2, and stop 3. For the Wadies, the Spoke demonstration, University of Florida, the Keysight, Lido/Saxton Labs, and in there. And we do have more detailed slides about each application demonstration coming up a little later. Whoops, I went the wrong direction. Okay, this shows another picture of some of their outside areas where we can set up at. The applications field testing at the intersections, Aaron and Tom are the field test conductors. We have 3 intersections. Each of the intersections have 2 different traffic signal controllers. We do have RSUs that will be at each intersection, Capsh at the intersection 1, Harm at the intersection 2, Consignia at the intersection 3, and there'll also be another RSU out the infield to do curve speed warning. I also forgot about the 2 Consignia units that are actually on the oval of the track that's mounted to the towing gantries. I'll add to the slide once we get done here. The intersection 1, I believe, is the one that they've ran a IPv6 connection port out there, which will have a router to provide Wi-Fi and connections there on the track. Also, the Leidos team generated the map messages going the RSU. They were received yesterday. I put it on the Plugfest technical subcommittee folder for the Plugfest spring. I will actually email these to the RSU manufacturers here later this afternoon. And let's make sure. My understanding is that William built these maps for 2 out of the 3 lanes. I do need to call him to find out which 2 lanes, which was done for the intersections. In the applications being run, they'll be running the for the V2I, which is the infrastructure, the red light violation warning, the curve speed warning, the transit signal priority, and the pedestrian conflict warning. Also, our document includes a few other applications if the devices are capable and can make use out of it. Love to see as much as possible to be run. The V2V applications, in the test document, we have the emergency brake warning, the forward collision warning, the blind spot warning, the intersection assist move. We are definitely focusing on the emergency electronic brake light. This shows an example of the first test case and the configuration to go run it. I don't know why. I'm sorry about that. In the application, there are actually 6 different test cases here. They're all kind of shown, so you can go to the document and we'll show where all the documents are later in the presentation. Okay, Aaron, would you like to start next?
Hey, Randy, I can't. Can you guys hear me? Hello?
I'm going to go on mute, but I can hear you.
Yeah, we can hear
Yeah,
Hey,
we
you.
have you,
Aaron.
Thank you.
Aaron. Thank you.
Okay, awesome. Thanks, guys. Yeah. So on your Plugfest, you can see here we've got the test labs. We've got DECRA, TUV, Rhineland, as well as TTA. Security providers, SCMS providers, we've got ISS, Microsec, Saysol, and BlackBerry, who will be virtual this Plugfest. Test equipment, we've got Keysight. So they have the benchtop, two actually benchtop pieces of equipment. They do have a sniffer tablet, and I guess they're having a field demo as well. SEA and IA, they've got the functional apps and the sniffer. iTerrace has a sniffer tablet, and then Waities, you've got the ground truth congestion and the sniffer. Devices so far, we've got the Coda, I think we have the Coda, the Coda RSU. We'll have a Danlaw system, which is an RSU. Harman will have OBUs. They should have a Qualcomm OBU, Autotox OBU, as well as an RSU. Hitachi will have an OBU. Spoke, they'll have their OBU as well as they'll be doing their field demo. Comsignia will have an OBU as well as an RSU. iTerrace, I think they have an RSU. Randy, do they have an OBU as well?
Aaron,
Yes.
they do have an OBU that operates as a test tool. So
Yeah.
we'll be operating
Okay.
their test tool.
Thanks, Randy. Unix will have an RSU there in the Trek. Unix with a U, they should have an OBU, a module, and an RSU. Continental OBU, Captcha RSU. Also in the other category, we do have the University of Florida will have an intersection-specific optimization, and then Saxton Labs will be doing their semi-truck application demo. Go ahead and continue to the next one if you don't care. Next slide, please. Thank you. Test equipment per test case elements. So we'll have the first Keysight. Second Keysight will be a conjunction of Keysight running, TUV running, as well as TTA. Keysight will also have a sniffer. iTerrace will have a sniffer. SEA and I both have a sniffer as well as a functional tester. Yeah, sorry. Spirent's got the DECRA, or DECRA has the Spirent system. TTA also has the Spirent system. Marvin will have their test tool there. Waities will have BSM testing as well as the congestion control testing. So if you see here, you've got all of the specifications we'll be testing towards through GPP PHY 3161 SCMS.2.3, so on and so forth. Next slide. Plugfest scheduling bench test schedule. So this is pretty much what the schedule is going to be. We've got Key Site 1, Key Site 2 there, Spirant 1, Spirant 2, the ITER sniffer, SEA sniffer, the SEA NI function testing, and then Marbin. So if you look through here, usually we'll have it set up to where we'll have one session in the morning, and then we'll have 2 p.m. sessions. Sorry. So Monday AM will be set up for everything. Monday PM 1 for the benchtop equipment. That'll be a connect session, kind of like we've done the past few Plugfest events. Monday PM 2, this when we're going to start our testing. So we've got Hitachi, Unix, Continental, Danlaw for the key sites and Spirants, and then we also have Coda for the SEA. Sorry, guys. Okay, yeah, sorry, the field's on a different slide. Tuesday AM, we'll have ComSignia RSU, Coda, Hitachi Capsh, and Continental for the SEA. Continental Harman, the Auto is actually Autotox module device. So we've got Harman Autotox, the Keysight 2, Coda, ComSignia RSU, and then ComSignia OBU. Unix, their module will be in Keysight 1, Tuesday PM2. Danlaw, Wave B, the Wave B Plus device should be in the Spirant 1. Continental, and then Harman with the Autotox module there. Wednesday at AM should be Coda, Continental, ComSignia, Danlaw, and then Harman for the SEA NI. And I didn't actually include the ITER sniffer, SEA sniffer, and the Marbin device, so we have open slots for testing. And those devices that actually want to test that should be able to run to that test station at any point in time they need to. Wednesday PM, you've got the Harman RSU, ComSignia RSU, Unix RSU, Coda. The Thursday AM, Harman Auto, Hitachi, Danlaw, Harman RSU, and then ComSignia RSU for SEA NI. Thursday PM1, Danlaw, Wave B Plus, Harman RSU, and then Unix device, and then we'll have the caps for the SEA tool. Thursday PM2, we've got the Spoke device at the key site. We've got the Unix module, Capsh, Hitachi, Danlaw. And then Friday, we've got ComSignia, Capsh, Harman, Spoke, and I don't believe SEA is testing Friday, so I just left that as an NA. So this is the overall schedule. We've got another schedule that we should be putting up here sometime shortly, kind of more in depth. Thanks, Randy. Plugfest schedule field testing. So as far as the field testing is concerned, we've got the Waities tool. We have those guys scheduled from Monday PM2 all the way through Friday AM. So that should be good for that. The Keysight sniffer will be out on the field. The way that we're doing the schedule this Plugfest is we've got schedules for the Waities. We have schedules for the application. We also have schedules for the Leidos, their applications. So the Keysight sniffer, the Spirant sniffer, ITERIS, and SEA, those guys will be able to go out onto the track whenever they need to just to be able to do that. We have open slots for those guys, so should be good to go on that one.
So Aaron, we may want to mention on the SEMS testing, we do have some schedules for them since they were only half an hour slots. Those are in more the detailed schedule than what we're going to show today.
Yeah, the SEMS is in more of a detailed schedule. They are 1 hour slots, so there should be, I want to say there's 4 of them on Tuesday afternoon, as well as 4 of them on Thursday afternoon. So they'll have 8 devices total for an hour a slot. They also have some openings in Thursday morning if there's devices that they've already tested or they know they want to test the .2, .1 with, so on and so forth. They'll be able to actually run that Thursday morning. CVDX test equipment, we've got the Keysight, Old Faithful. We've also got their new VDX tablet, the Wave B Touch, I believe. We've got the Spirant system, ITERIS tablet sniffer. We'll have the SEA NI, the test system, as well as the sniffer. Capsh will have their sniffer there as well. Leidos, Saxton Labs will have the Cave in the Box and the VDX hub. And then Waities will have the BSN performance, location, accuracy, and Wireshark. Overall testing requirements, TCI, everybody should be running TCI v3. TCI is strongly recommended for the upper layers, especially .2, .3, .4, 2945, so on and so forth. Most of the 1609 tests, as well as the J2945, the upper layer, those will all be wired test cases. We always do recommend putting those in an isolated box. Sometimes that doesn't happen. So as long as you're okay with some of the bleeding over from other devices, you should be able to run that. Signal attenuators are recommended. Radio PHY testing requires the TCIA for test equipment proprietary chipset interfaces. 3GPP is a wired test as well, and we usually run those overnight. We have the possibility to run those overnight. Devices require the security headers per usual. All devices indoors will be operating at default parameters, your 15 dBm power, RB and MCS and PSID 0x7F or the test PSID. For WSM, except for individual parameter variable under test. So for J2945/1 testing, device is expected to be at default parameters. TCI is recommended for some J2945/1 bench testing for 0x20 BSMs and 0x23 SCMS. Each test station may be required to use different channels for .3, .4, that's the WSM, WSA. IPv6 testing at 10 and 20 hertz, depending on North American, which we should be running that this Plugfest. If interference occurs, all PCAP files represent over-the-air captures both externally and internally. Vehicle size fields, width and length will be used for device identification. We didn't really have anything. I guess we didn't really ask the device manufacturers before the Plugfest, so we'll be getting that probably during the Plugfest, just to help out to see which devices are which. IoT needs to use their own cabling, attenuation, vehicle antennas, and power cables per usual. Individual device results, scorecards not collected or collated. Test stations provide test case feedback, pass fail only. So I think that might have changed a little bit with mix test result. But
Aaron,
go ahead, Randy.
I'll change that bullet. We missed
Okay.
that in our review.
Yeah, that's fine. Thanks, Randy. Okay, sorry. Test stations. Each test station typically uses the Windows 10 and team session availability with greater than 5-port Ethernet data switch and power strip connecting test equipment, GNS source, test radio, proxy, sniffer, and the device. Device shall be connected as wired and attenuated to test equipment if shield room is not present. Usually it's not. Use N-type SMA and the Fokker connectors and cablings. GPS repeater is active in bench areas. Randy, will we be having 3 antennas there, or is it just the 1 antenna?
We're planning on having 3, one in the
Okay.
main room and one in the debug room and one in the SCMS room.
Gotcha. Dot provider provides device loaded with security certificates, TCI v3, and user operating testing instructions. Test station operator and device manufacturer load test case results into Google Notes being facilitated. That's actually Google Forms being facilitated by Mick at each morning, 8:30 to 9 a.m. We'll have results briefing. Wi-Fi with IPv6. We're going to have the portable router, VDEX SCMS, and VDEX IPv6 with public standard static IPv4 address and the IPv6 tunneling. There's the password there. The Plugfest IP settings for testing with TCI and SCMS. So based on when we actually receive those device capabilities and the test equipment capabilities list, we have assigned IP addresses. So if anybody has any questions with that, just reach out to myself. But for now, we've got the test equipment here starting from 192, 168, 055 to 063. We also have the devices that's going to start at 01 and that's going to 029. Security certificate access v6. So here's your SCMS provider, contact information, BlackBerry William Lee, ISS, that's just the support email, microsec Marton ISO. And Say Salt Tech, there's their support email there. IPv6 addresses, we've got 4. We've got 2 from ISS. We've got the BlackBerry IPv6 address and the microsec. And this is also the security instructions document that we can provide you if no one has access, or if someone doesn't have access to that, just reach out to the Almere team there. Randy, do you want to go ahead and check the BSM draft checklist?
Okay, I'll take it. This is the BSM checklist. Basically, we do the drive test there, 1 through the weighties and 1 through the device interoperability, where we make a drive and that stuff. We check the different items. The one thing that Suntrax offers is some unique capabilities as far as the terrain testing, where it goes up and down and curves and all that stuff. That would very nice test for an OBU, and also different pavements surfaces. Our next slide is our field interoperability, where I carry test equipment. We'll have multiple OBUs broadcasting the same vehicle. No one else knows everybody's length and width except your own. So you basically will get a couple known devices out there, and you know which one yours is in the PCAP, and so you can see interoperability, how they compare, and that perspective. For our weighties tool, they're actually bringing 2 units to operate within the same vehicle. It's a high performance reference device, and this kind of shows the analysis and what we do in the different items. So we go through an accuracy test, we go through a CDA test, which is a constant slowing down, accelerating test by the standard, a security privacy, a path prediction, a low speed test, where you test the latching and unlatching in an event, which is the hard braking on the track. And we also do restart power. So on the weighties tool on the track, this is one of the first times we've actually had a large enough circle to run the 100-meter radius on path prediction. We actually have a dedicated area to do hard braking event inside the track. We got another area that we can do the figure 8s. They do offer the uniqueness of pavement surfaces roughness, where we can run, and that's one thing that we've never had the opportunity to do. Then we have the terrain testing there. Since they are bringing 2 test systems operating the same vehicle, you can run two OBUs at the same time, so you can do a comparison. Or you could actually have one of your devices doing the normal sky, say what its performance is, and you can actually hook your second device into their high precision ground truth station that gets plus or minus 4 centimeters accuracy. And so you'll have a comparison from a ground truth perspective versus the GPS you're running. So a lot of capabilities in this test. I've mapped out the 30-minute drive course that leaves the track, where you got to have 2-kilometer distance as the bird flies, where certificates has a minimum requirement of 2 kilometers and a 5 minutes minimum order to change certificates. So I've mapped out 2 potential routes. Hopefully I'm avoiding the toll roads and any construction areas. So when I get in there Sunday afternoon, I'll take a drive on both of these routes to see what will be best, so we can have our Waities team perform the local drive test. This is our first time we're taking doing the Google Forms and collecting data instead of the Excel spreadsheet form. So Mick has put together a system where we can, the test operators and the device manufacturers can submit their results into the forms and run them and say pass, fail, or what the issue was, because at the end of the day, we'd like to see at least 2 or 3 devices go through each test case, hopefully get passes, but failures are good too. It shows our test case working, and we'll have so-called daily responses in an anonymity way. So we never post anybody's individual device results. We basically do it by test case and anonymity, where, well, 4 devices ran this test case today and 3 passed, 1 failed, but we don't identify who the devices are. It's just that how many. I think I skipped a slide or got one out of order. This was the last. In our plug phase, our test case traceability, we're showing an example here for the power, as far as the different number test case IDs and the areas of testing is which ones here. So Mick will be sending out, if you're going to be performing our, this is test specification 761, and these test cases, which ones did you run, which ones pass or fail. We also have the Plugfest traceability matrix, and sorry about the formatting here. This was the last slide we added about 5 minutes before the meeting, so I'll go clean it up real quick. But this is a listing of those. And once you're done on the test results collection, a question will be sent to you. You'll fill the form out. You'll look at the test case, put your information in, and we hope to get it both from the test station and the device manufacturer, collect the results, and the next morning we'll see how people's done going through each test station. For the test specifications themselves, these are the ones involved in connected vehicle that are active now. If you go to the Plugfest Technical Subcommittee SharePoint site and go to Plugfest Spring 2023 under specs, the PDFs of each element are at the website. Test equipment details. We have a lot of folks coming in. We do have a seminar that's going to be done by Mustafa of Danlaw, and this one will be on Tuesday morning. He'll be going through the 1218 software test system that was developed. There's also test scripts out there people can use. And we do have 2 of our test laboratories, Danlaw and TTA, that will be performing the 1218 testing, whether it's with the software or with their own versions. I don't know at this time, but we need to get the RSUs tested for 1218. And also Mustafa is going to give us an insight on the tool that's being developed by one of the US DOT projects that's not quite ready yet, but should be available at the next Plugfest. We do have a seminar going on Tuesday morning. That will be the SCMS on the certificate processing. So I think they're going to go through the new test specification and how it relates to the SCMS documents. And then there will be a Thursday working session to work through some of the test cases, along with a normal scheduled time with the device manufacturer in that. We do have the VDEX Hub Message Generation Verification Seminar that will be done by Saxton Labs on Monday afternoon. We do have the pedestrian and crosswalk being done by the University of Florida. This is a pictorial to show their real-time intersection optimization, which will be on intersection 2 to walk through, do the pedestrian crosswalk. That will be both in the Wednesday's demo and working through the week. We do have Saxton Labs, the USDOT project, where they have their commercial motor vehicle, which they call their Move Over Law Emergency Vehicles project. They want to see how this app's run with the device manufacturers that are coming to Plugfest, and with them having a security enabled messages. So this is the process flow from their Karma messenger system to the VDEX hub, where they form it to the cloud and form it to the freight. They're using a enhanced BSM that we'll get into next on the slide. For device configurations, they do request the manufacturer have some device configurations. You can see the listing here for the configurations. I did not notice this, but they're XX05. I want to make the change here. It's actually a 0 hex 85. Whoops. Zero hex 85, which is equal to a E805, but I will correct this before the presentation gets posted. Then the RSU configuration, they use a WSN forward table and a immediate forward table in that configuration. As far as the enhanced BSM, there is a PCAP low and their full up presentation that's listed in the Plugfest preparation SharePoint that you can access. It also, there's a PCAP there. I took that PCAP and pulled it up under the 6 different Wiresharks that I carry. There was only one Wireshark that actually fully decoded this message. And if you want it fully decoded, you can they've provided a ASN.1 Python scripting you can done post, or if the test tool manufacturers can make the change on their sniffer test tool in order to get real-time decoding. And here's the coding changes that they're requested. If you have any questions on that stuff, I can always forward your email to the Saxton Labs team and they can help you. Weighties, this is their test tool. They're actually bringing 2 of them. One is Autotops based, the other one is Qualcomm based, but they give both exactly the same results that we've seen in past Plugfest, and it measures the performance. And they're also bringing their congestion control. When they turn on the congestion control, it can simulate up to 40 BSMs during your drive test. Keysight is having 2 test stations. Both of them have their conformance and application system on them. One test station they'll be running, the other test station will be run by TUV, and on 2 of the days, and on a third day, TTA will be running it, and I think the 4th day Keysight will go through there. Keysight, they had an acquisition last year where they procured North Systems. So they actually do have a Keysight email address now for more information, but all the information is the same on their tablet, and they also show the visual displays of what's happening there. I've used one for a couple of years here, very beneficial tool, just like all the other tools that we have coming to Plugfest. They do have a new test tool, which they call their field application layer tester, that goes into the car, tests different application scenarios. They generate ghost BSMs in order to run the applications. Something very similar that you saw in the last Plugfest in Malaga in Spain, where DECRA is doing something very similar with their vector test tool. SEA is bringing their functional tester to this Plugfest for the first time. They've taken the benefits from their conformance tester and their sniffer and kind of put them together in one, so they can actually do both bench and field testing and actually interface to the vehicle itself. So we're looking forward to seeing that. Then our last test tool is their sniffer, which can do both LT and DSRC, and we'll have that there, and that's all for my presentation. Jason, would you like to give it? I'd like to thank Aaron and the team for helping putting all the information together, and we still got a few final finishing touches to do before Plugfest, but we'll look forward to seeing you in about a week. Jason, do you have any closing remarks you'd like to make? Ryan or Burkinda, would you like to make any closing remarks?
No, Randy, that was a great overview. We very much appreciate everyone's attention to this. This particular presentation will be cleaned up a little bit and placed online. A link of this video will also go out to members as well. I look forward to seeing everybody in the next week. If anybody has any questions, please feel free to call any of the team. We'll be more than happy to answer your questions. If there's any last minute changes, please let me know as soon as you can. I'm flying out early next week to get everything set up. So when everyone's there on Monday, everything will be in great shape. No, have a great weekend, and thank you very much for participating.
Hey, Ryan, this was 1 hour session. Was this scheduled to an hour and a half? Or do we have time for any questions, or we just want questions sent to our
No,
emails?
I think the questions would be better to be sent through Burkinda, and then we can send them to the group. So if there's any questions in the chat box, please feel free to put those in or send them to Randy or myself, and we'll any questions that were put out, we'll send them to the group in an email later, probably on Monday.
Well, thank you guys very much, and thank you, Aaron.
Thank you, Randy. Good presentation.